Hello, everyone, and welcome to Eternal X Wolf Pack Paranormal, the podcast. I am your host, Sean Ellis, and tonight we've got a couple great guests that hasn't been on for a very long time, and are good friends of mine as well. And we'll be talking a little bit about how they got into the field and just things in general as well. My co-host tonight, I wish her the best. She had an emergency come up, so we hope all is going well with Ms. Gwen. And like I said, let's go on with the show tonight. We have from Maddy Talking Smack, we have Miss Maddy Vasquez.
What's up, everybody?
And we have her co-host, our host, George. He's in the house as well. How you guys doing?
Woo! I'm good.
We have a couple people in the house. We have a couple people in the house already. Ms. Gwen is in the house watching probably from her phone. And we have Mr. Adam Ramos in the house as well. Thanks, guys, for stopping in.
Adam, Gwen, what's up?
What's going on? Adam, my brother from another mother. How you doing?
So, it has been a while since you've been on the show before, and we've got a lot of new followers since then. So, Maddy, can you explain how you got into the paranormal field?
All right, man. Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'm trying to make it short.
All right.
When I was about 20, this bird flew into the house, and in Hispanic culture, when a bird flies into your house, it means that someone's going to die. And he came in and he sat at the head of the table. And right away, I looked at my mom and I was all like, I want to call Dad. I need to, I want to call Dad. And I think I scared her, and she's like, oh, Madeline, you're just being stupid. Da, 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 stop. I think I scared her. So later on that night, around 3:00 in the morning, somebody came and knocked at the door and said, Sarah, they told my mom, Sarah, you need to call your in-laws because something happened to Anthony, which is my dad. And so she called him, and my dad had passed away around the same time that bird flew in the house. So I've always thought there's got to be something to this. I don't know how omens began. I don't know where they came from. Did it happen to a bunch of people at the same time? And they're like, oh, yeah, that happened to me. Oh, well, that happened to me, too. A bird flew in my house, and then my grandma died. Or, I don't know. But I really wanted to know more about it. And I wanted to know that there's something more than just this life. Because I don't want there to be, I don't want there to be just this life. I want there to be something more. And I'm just so interested in finding out. One of my questions that I like to ask is when I'm speaking, when we go out there and do what we do and we're asking questions, I like to ask, is there a heaven? I haven't got an answer yet, but I believe in heaven.
Really?
I believe in heaven, but I want that, validation.
Right. Very much so. I think one of the things a lot of people would get validation of something like that. We have Susan Victoria in the house as well. Thank you for coming in. And David Jarvis, he is in the house as well. Hello, David.
Oh, that's my homeboy right there, David. What the word on the street?
Yeah. George. Oh, we got Raymond Newsom in the house as well. He just popped in too. George, you're on mute.
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm here.
How did you get into the paranormal, my friend?
First off, if there's a lag, I'm sorry. I don't know why there would be. But when I was a kid, I mean, I've just been dealing with it my whole life. So it just kind of seemed like the next logical step. When I was a kid, I mean, I can remember back as far as 5 years old, spending the summer with my grandmother. She put us down to nap, midday nap. And I was asleep between my grandmother and my sister on the bed, and then my other sister was laying on the floor. And I could feel something pushing up from underneath the bed. Well, I was the guy, or I was the kid that climbed out to see what was going on. I looked under the bed. So I guess that set me up for trying to find answers to the questions, if you will. So I've been dealing with the paranormal my whole life, but like I said, I've only been investigating it since 2009. So that's a short answer.
That's cool as well. We have a question in the house already from Mr. Raymond G. Newsom. He said, would earthbound spirits know the answer to that question? Is there a heaven?
I have a theory. I have a theory that most of the earthbound spirits know there's a heaven and they're afraid of the consequences. That's what I believe, because usually it's, the unfinished business and all that. I'm not saying it's true. It's just my opinion, but I feel that there's something to that. They're afraid to move on because they're afraid of maybe they did something in their life. Maybe they didn't, but in their head, they feel the guilt and they feel like they've done something because there's all that energy, right? Guilt and hate and pain is a big energy. It's a big, big energy. Of course, love is more. Right. It's easy to hate. It's easy to hate. It's easy to be mean to somebody, but it's hard to love. And I think when there's earthbound spirits, I honestly believe that they do know, and they're scared to go on. But that doesn't mean it's true. It's just my opinion.
Yes. So we got another comment here in the house real quick. David Jarvis says, if a rat sees a bat, has it seen an angel? That's kind of like the chicken or the egg come first, And that's
why I love the man. That's why David Jarvis is my buddy.
Yeah. And then we have Raw Side Paranormal. Thank you guys for stopping in. And then we've got another question here from Susan Victoria. Do you believe in reincarnation?
George?
Oh, I do. Absolutely, I do. I 100% do. Like I said, that's another improvable thing right now. But I do believe in reincarnation. But I feel like maybe the circumstances have to be right. It's not just all nilly-willy or willy-nilly or whatever it is. It's there's a process for it. But yeah, I do believe that there is you can be reincarnated.
Right. Unfortunately, I believe it too. I don't want it to be true. I don't want to come back. But I do believe in old souls. So if I believe in old souls, I have to believe in reincarnation, right? Because there are people that they talk about things, right? And it's like, what? How do you even know that? How do you even know that? And they get people that say, hey, that was my husband. And it's just like a 3-year-old little boy saying, I used to be in World War II. I do believe in those things. So, I don't want to come back, but it's not up to me, right?
I think the strangest video I think I've seen of a possible reincarnation was during 9/11. I don't know if you've seen the video of it, but it was about a little boy. He said he fell out the window of when that happened, And he was explaining to his parents everything that happened. And he wasn't even, he was born that day. So he couldn't have remembered, or, it wasn't even possible. But he explained everything that happened to a particular man. And also, they took the boy to the people that he worked with, some of the people that survived, that knew the guy. And he was giving them answers that he shouldn't even have known.
Right.
So that was an interesting clip that I seen of that one. And that would be a form of reincarnation. And like I said, I've seen it pop up and around on videos on occasion. And like I said, you can probably find that clip on YouTube. But yeah, I always thought that was interesting, because he said he witnessed himself falling out of the building himself.
And I mean, that's a double-edged sword, because I'm sure it's comforting to the people that lost him, but it's not. It's not comforting to me, because I don't want to come back. But it's crazy. It's hard for me in my head to make that make sense, because I just so much do not want it to be true.
Yeah, like I said, I seen that video clip.
Maybe we get to pick.
Like I said, I seen that video. Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, I've heard a few different theories on it, and etc. I have Miss Lee Brown in the house, the CEO of All Access Network Television. She is in the house. Hello, Lee. Thanks for stopping in.
Hello.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting theories about reincarnation, and I guess it just on what you believe, what's your religion or what you look into and believe in, because everybody's got a different view of that. So it's definitely an interesting concept.
I will say this. Supposedly, if I remember correctly, according to the Zodiac, you're supposed to jump from sign to sign to sign to sign until you hit Pisces.
Ooh, then I'm done.
Pisces is the last sign. And maybe, just maybe, that's why when people are born Pisces, they're beat down so damn hard. We're born beat down.
Maybe, but there's something to that, because most Pisces, I don't know about all, but most Pisces can sniff out bullshit. I mean, a lot of people can that aren't Pisces, but they have that radar, man. Yeah. It's just like, nah, dude, you're pulling my leg, and there ain't nothing to it. And people will be like, oh no, no, they're. And then as soon as they do it, oh, I told you so. So, hey, you live life so many times, you're going to catch on to certain things, right?
Yeah, I can agree with a little bit of that factor, but I also kind of believe maybe that the fact that they're an empath and they're picking up on certain things, which is their bullshit radar as well, that things don't get by people so easily, that has an open-minded about things and able to see beyond. So it's hard to cover up BS, because it does stand out. And they always said it'll come to the light one way or another.
Right.
That's definitely for sure. David Jarvis says, I've seen some stuff on that subject. I believe it. Gwen here she says, I believe it is real. And Susan Victoria here says, I'm a Pisces.
Oh, so. Yeah.
but that's, I kind of believe the fact that you're going to have a choice when time comes. You either go into the light, or you can turn around and go into the universe. And if you go into the light, things will be different. And if you go to the universe, you become part, and that's all knowing. So I think because we are made of pure energy, So I think we'll end up getting a choice, or some of us, who knows, might get thrown in the pit. Who knows? But hopefully we've all done enough good.
Well, shit.
Hopefully we've done enough
I'll come back.
good that don't happen. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept. And I think some of the Indians also believe, you can come back as an animal spirit as well. So that's where they got some of their thought patterns.
I want to come
Raymond
back to
here. He says, Raymond says, I may have some expertise with some things. Adam says Taurus here too. So the Taurus, there's a Taurus and a Pisces, and we've got a few of them in here. And then we got another one here from Susan. It says, Maddy, why would you not want to have another life to be reborn?
Well, I'm not a fan of people. No, I'm just kidding. I love people. I think it's hard. Life is, it's hard for people, or for me. I'm not people. I mean, not people. I am people, though. It's hard for me to cope with certain things in life and to feel that pain. Like when somebody passes away, to feel that pain again. And I know we don't always remember it, but it hurts right now. And I don't want to feel that. And, you have to worry about bills. You have to worry about responsibilities. I don't want to do that anymore. Now, maybe if it was in a time where it was simpler, it was simpler. And I know there's always been wars, and I know there's always been crazy things going on, but maybe just a little simpler than what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah. And David Jarvis said here, Dorothy Eade from 1904 to 1981 was a British woman who believed she was the reincarnation of an Egyptian printress. Look up her story is really wild, made a believer out of many people. I'll definitely have to check that one out, David. Right. And then we've got Raymond Newsom. He's made another comment here. What if when you go to the light, you're just coming out of the birth canal, and that's why babies cry? Well, I kind of got to believe in that theory, because not about the babies cry, but what's the first thing you actually realize once you're born? Light. It's the light. So I got to believe there's some type of a theory that's linked to that. And, because once you go to the light, the first thing you see on the other side is light.
Right.
Possibly. And some people have even witnessed this on the death table, when they've been operated on and come back. They said they've went to the light. They've seen light on the other side. But then, there's various type stories that goes along with that as well. So, because like I said, everyone's different in what they believe. So it's definitely interesting. So
can I say this? Go ahead. A friend of mine passed away one night, and we all got the call. That call that you get when, hey, so-and-so passed away, and we all got together that night at his sister and brother-in-law's house, and we were standing outside, and I actually saw that light. I mean, this light that I saw was so bright that it was blinding, and it was the way all I could describe it was it started small, then it grew really big and just blinding, and then back small, and then it disappeared. And the weird thing about it, though, is it came from someplace there would be no light source emitted from. It came from like say this is the front door, the door swung out this way. It came from the top right, above the door. So I don't know. I don't know what that was. And then I asked everybody around me, "Did y'all just see that light?" And they all looked at me like I was crazy. Like, you crazy, dude. I don't know what you're smoking on, but I want some of that.
I've got to admit,
that was a light from your crack pipe, George.
I've got to admit, I've seen some pretty strange things as well since I've been in the paranormal field, and some of them you just can't debunk, and it's like, wow, and there's no explanation for it to be except for paranormal. But like I said, you always try to debunk it and look into the subject as well, and yeah, it's definitely interesting when you can't debunk it and you try all theories and try to break it down to what it actually is, and you can't come up with a reason why. So that's definitely a good thing to be able to do that. And David Jarvis says here, according to the law of conservation of energy, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed from one form to another. Well, that's true. I do believe that energy just doesn't die. So it goes somewhere. That's definitely for sure. So, Maddy,
Yes.
being an investigator, being out to some cemeteries and some locations, what's the strangest thing that you have actually come across of?
The strangest thing I've ever seen. That's a good question. A wild hog. Now, one time me and George saw this wild hog and it scared the shit out of me. we went to Sutherland Springs, and there was this old church, old church, and like the guts were out. It was that old. It was just, insulation and all kinds of stuff. And I swear it was a Scooby-Doo moment. It must have been my fourth time out, George, maybe. And we're walking in there, and I think I'm the big girl, right? I'm like, all right, let's do this, George. So I get in there, and you just hear this noise, and I have the camera because George said, you hold the camera, I'll do this, and and I'm like, all right. And I hear this weird sound. And I swear this is how I went. I hear something. And that was just the craziest time. And I couldn't believe that when we walked out, they said, oh, we saw, I think it was, what was it, a duck or something? A hog had run out in the field. So I felt so dumb. Because I'm supposed to be with these cool guys that are investigators, and I'm over there acting like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy.
That's funny.
But
what about you, George? Go ahead, finish. Hang on, let Maddy finish. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a delay there for a second.
I think the weirdest thing. We go to the cemeteries. I don't see too much, but when I see something where it's like, that's my birthday, and I know there's a million graves in there. There's a million, it's just weird. Like where my dad is buried, right next to him is a tombstone, and my name is Madeline, right? And the tombstone right next to it is Madeline. And I'm like, how the hell? What are the odds? It's just things like that are what's weird to me. I guess there's no such thing as coincidences, but things like that. What's it called? Synchronicity kind of things.
Yeah, it's along that lines. Yeah, we got a little bit of delay between us and Maddy and George, so I apologize if I accidentally cut into one of you or you guys cut into me. There is a little bit of delay going on tonight. George, strangest thing you have going on is seeing, my friend?
Well, we were investigating, of all things, a ranch. And in the horse barn, uh, I saw a shadow figure come out of the wall, cross this walkway, and go into one of the what do you call it? Where they keep the stable where they keep the horse, one of the horses. But it happened
Mm-hmm.
so fast. Excuse me. It happened so fast that in order for me to really catch it and slow it down enough to see it, I had to slow the video down 90%.
Wow.
And yeah, when I saw it the first thing I thought of, because imagine on one side there's a wall with horse stables, a walkway, and then an open center of the stable with
Mm-hmm.
the hay and the dirt and all that where they exercise the horses, because that's what they did there. And but I kept seeing something run across very fast, so fast to the point I'm going to say this. I asked do y'all have hogs here? Because I thought maybe it was hogs running by, and no,
Mm-hmm.
it was. They were like, no, we don't have anything like that. Well, luckily I got it on video and I was able to slow it down. Like I said, I had to slow it down 90%, but it is a shadow figure that comes out of a wall and crosses into a stable, one of the horse stables. Uh,
One of the stalls.
yeah, one of the stalls. And then shortly after that, I got a 2x4 moving on its own. So
That's
yeah, it was a very interesting place. Uh, but okay, I'm gonna ask this question. What was the question again?
What was the weirdest
the
thing you
most.
ever?
That was the weirdest. That was definitely the weirdest. Now I get my name called at almost every investigation I go to. I mean, literally, like I've been told to shut up by name,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me. It doesn't. It's like I told a friend of mine, "Hey, man, they called my name at this investigation." He was like, "Again." It happens so often, But really, that's really it. I mean, I don't. Yeah, nothing really, I guess, phases me, if you will. So I hope that answered your question,
That's a
sir.
good thing.
Yeah.
That's definitely interesting as well. I know I've been on investigations before, and also when I was on an investigation with my mentor, she was a Reiki master. It has come over the voice box as well, saying they don't like us, they don't want us there, me and her, and we would literally have to leave the room at that time on the old team for them to get responses because they didn't like me and her being in that room with them. So we had to walk away. So I know what it's like to have your voice called out. And even my colleague Nikki has had her name called out a few times when we've been on investigations as well. So she kind of freaked out the first couple of times. Just like, did I just hear that right? And I said, yep, you heard it right. They called your name out. So it does happen. Raymond Newsom made a comment here. He says, that's why next time when I come back, I'm going to be like Charlie Brown during Trick or Treat, and I got a rock.
Got a rock.
You always got to love Raymond's sense of humor. He's definitely got one for sure. He'll be coming on in the future as well in a month or so.
Awesome.
And we'll have his team on here. We'll have his team on here as well, talking with them.
But
is there any
are awesome? EVPs are my favorite. I have yet to see a full body apparition or any kind of not dust. What is it, like a fog? A mist is what I meant to say. A mist. I have not seen any of that. I would love to. I'd probably say I saw something. I hope not. But I love EVPs. I love those.
We
Hi,
have Miss Pam Harris from Serene Divine in the house. Hello, Pam. Thanks for stopping in.
Hi, Pam.
I actually got to see a full apparition once so far. It was my girlfriend that passed away. I actually seen her standing right here. There's a doorway here behind my screen. She was actually standing in the dining room when I seen her. It was a full apparition. She's the first and only one I've seen a full apparition of. Because normally when I see spirits, normally I see energy. I don't see a full apparition. It's kind of like when I see a spirit normally, it's like seeing a heat wave off the road. You know, the vibrations of the heat. That's how I see spirits when they're walking around, is like they got an energy signature and it's kind of like a wave, but they can't fully see exactly what they are, but you know they're there. And you can tell if it's bad energy or not. But yeah, that's the first one I've ever seen, was one after my girlfriend passed away a couple years ago. Hey, Pam.
I saw one of those energy things you're talking about. In my house. Excuse me.
Mhm.
It was in the shape. It was humanoid shaped, but it looked. Excuse me. It looked like you're looking through moving water.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, very similar. Yes.
And it was walking down my hall
That's the
over
way
here.
I see it.
And I was walking down my hall, and it didn't scare me or anything. It just, I looked at it and I was like, well, there's something you don't see every day. And then I went about my business. It didn't bother me. I didn't bother it. But yeah, I've seen one.
Yeah, that's how I see spirits in locations. I see the energy from them. And it, like I said, it looks like a heat signature wave, or like you said, a fine, thin layer of water similar to that. This is the best way possibly to describe it, I should say. Or the fact of like a hot day and you're looking at the road and you can see that fluctuation of the heat coming off the road is exactly how is another way to say it. Anytime you guys go out on investigation, excuse me, George?
Come to see the road, come to see the heat coming up from the road or something like that. Isn't that a Van Halen song?
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I had to go there.
I know you guys talk about music sometimes. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Is there any particular thing you guys do to protect yourselves on investigations as well?
I carry
Maddy?
Georgie around with me. Dude, I swear, those ghosts, they will not talk to me. Spirits, whatever you want to call, however you like to call them, they will not talk to me if Georgie's there. We didn't realize that was what was happening until I went on an investigation and George wasn't able to go. And then I got some responses. I actually got responses. And then again, I went with him and he wouldn't, but I think he's very protective. You know, and which I'm glad. I'm thankful. I'm glad. So it's okay that they don't talk to me when he's there, because I know he's protecting me. But it's just weird how that happens. And we were right, George. We were just like, why won't they talk to me? They were talking to 1, 2, 3 different people in the room, and they would not talk to me. And I was asking questions, and they even questioned, why aren't they talking to you? I'm like, I don't know.
Okay. I'm not sure I quite understand what Dane is saying there. It says, hello, my spirit was white, just flown out of the wall, out of a window. Okay. And then we have David Jarvis here again. They say if you feel a cold spot in your house, that's a spirit. Well, my story is this winter, I opened the door and a whole family of cold spots came in the house.
There you go.
Oh,
Well,
Diane. I know what Diane's talking about. Diane, she has a spirit in her house.
Oh, okay.
And I think what she's saying is that it just flew out of the wall, out of the window.
Gotcha.
So I think
Through the window, through the wall. I'm not going there. I'm sorry.
And then Gabe is just laughing. Yeah, thank you everybody for stopping in tonight and joining in on the chat. I really appreciate that as well.
yes.
Please like and share out the show as well, please, so that everybody has a chance to meet Maddy and George as well. So I know you guys do more than just ghost hunt and stuff, and on your show you guys talk a little bit about movies and music as well to kind of break up the monotony. So is there any movies that you guys have seen that people should probably check out?
Oh, I've been on a movie spree. I've seen Heretic was really good. If you like movies with some talking in it, it's got a lot of back and forth talking, but it was really good. And it was crazy to see Hugh Grant. So he was so malicious, and he has something he wants to prove. He's got something he wants to prove, and he just goes on about it. But the things that he's saying and the look in his eye, the way they made him look, I'm used to seeing him in these lovey-dovey movies and being a little romantic comedy kind of guy. And to see him like that, I mean, that just blew my mind, because that's not Hugh Grant acting like that. But it was. So Heretic is really good. Heretic, okay. I really like that one. I did see Blink twice. That was crazy. That was a crazy movie, but it was cool. I mean, I dug it. And I've recently been watching. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I just watched. I said, I know there's a little delay. Go ahead, Maddy. I know there's a little delay. Go ahead, Maddy.
Oh, I recently started watching the Dexter, the new Dexter, because I love true crime and serial killing and all this stuff. Right. And there's a new Dexter, but it's like him young, and how it's called Origin, and it's really good. I was really surprised. I just clicked on it. I was all like, let's see if this is any good at all, and it really is. I like it.
That's awesome. If you like those things, you need to check out Lee Brown's show with Thomas Patrick Gormley and those guys, and Gwen John and Blaine. They do supernatural serial killers and murderers. That's definitely a good show to watch. They do that on Monday nights. That's definitely an awesome show to check out when you get a chance, because I think Miss Pam Harris was going to be a guest on there tomorrow night, and they're going to talk about some mob stuff, I think, if I recall right. So she will be on the show tomorrow. So definitely check that out. George, what kind of movies you been watching lately, bud?
Man, I ain't been watching no movies, man. I don't have time. I work crazy hours. And then when I'm not when I'm not working, I live out in the woods, man, on the weekends. Well, I don't live there, but I go out there every weekend, and I just don't. I used to watch movies like it was going out of style, but I just don't anymore, man. And I've got enough going on where I don't miss it. You know what I mean? Like there's so much going on that that entertainment is not. I'm not gonna say it's not necessary. I like watching movies every now and again when I get a chance to sit down in front of Netflix. But honestly, I just don't. I just don't. I don't have time.
I don't know. I think that's my escape. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have a TV. And I don't know if it comes from, George, you probably were playing outside and all that. And I was a latchkey kid. So we were home. The TV was our babysitter. HBO had just started up. And we watched the same movies over and over. Because that's all HBO did was play the same thing over and over and over.
Now,
Yeah, back in the day, they did.
now, if you want to talk about movies that I can watch over and over and over again when they come on, it's I'm gonna age myself bad. Okay, do y'all remember Silverado? It's not a scary movie. It's a western.
Yes.
Yeah,
With
that movie.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Costner. I can't remember who. That young Danny Glover. Also, Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams. That's another one I will, if I get a chance to watch, I'll watch no matter what. But yeah, so I don't really, but like I said, I don't really get to watch movies a whole lot anymore. Be able to sit down and watch them.
I definitely like sitting down and watching a good scary movie once in a while. There's a new vampire one that just came out on DVD, and I can't remember the exact name of it or how to pronounce it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's on Paramount, and I plan on watching that later tonight before I go to bed. That kind of looks like an interesting movie. I'm definitely going to check that out. Imaginary, I actually liked too. When I went to the theater and watched that, check that out. It's a really good story as well. And actually, for Christmas, or I should say, for her birthday, I sent Gwen a copy of that DVD for her to check out. So it's a really good movie. It's called Imaginary.
I want to see that. I know it has like a bear on the cover, a stuffed teddy bear.
Yes, it's definitely very interesting.
I would like to see that. And I mean, yeah, there's so many new horror movies that are really mind effers. They just mess with your mind, and it's like, what? Sometimes you can figure out what's going on before you get to the end, but a lot of times, it's like, wow, you did a good job of making that come to light. Like, I know they remade See No Evil. No, Speak No Evil. Speak No Evil. I'm sorry.
Speak No Evil.
And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. It was one of those like hurry up and run and, oh, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? I mean, I love that. I love those movies.
I actually, since you brought that up, I actually like the older versions of Jason movies, as in the fact that they did that suspense and all of a sudden they had that music in the background and Jason would never chase you. He would stalk you.
Yes.
He would find you and just stalk you. And he would always catch up somehow. But yeah, it was definitely interesting. And Diane here says Abigail was a good show or good. I saw it today. I did see that. That's really good.
Is that the ballerina one, right?
I do like that movie. Yeah. That's really cool. That's got a good twist to it. It's definitely interesting.
Dude, if somebody told you, hey, let's go watch that ballerina vampire movie, you would be like, that I don't want to see that. That sounds stupid. But you watch it and it is so good. So I agree with you guys. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Like I said, I know there's a little bit of delay, but yeah, that's a very good movie. And I'm also interested. They're making Megan too.
Oh,
that's going to be a really good one. That's going to be coming out soon too. Is Megan too?
Sometimes I wish I watched more movies. I've never been much of a scary movie fan to begin with, anyway. I just never have. It's never been my jam. I'm more of an action thriller kind of guy, but I guess I should start watching more movies, or at least making the attempt. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like movies. That's definitely an interesting factor as well. I also know you guys. I also know you guys talk a lot about music. Maddie,
Oh,
what's your
yeah.
favorite genre?
Rock
What's your
and
favorite
roll.
genre?
Rock
What era
and
of rock and roll?
I mean, I think that again come from growing up in the with my dad listened to music and my aunts. I was born, but they were still young enough to influence me, you know? And there's just so much good music. Now, if you ask me what they're playing on the radio today, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I'm my boys listen to certain things and I'm like, okay, that sounds cool, but most of it I don't like. And I feel like that old lady that's like, you don't know what music is, and it's just like, oh man. But I love rock and roll. Put another dime. I loved it. There's Rush. I love Rush. I love Van Halen is one of my favorite. I love Eddie Van Halen. Then later on, you get into grunge. Well, I did. I got into grunge, and before that was like In Excess. I never was really into like boy bands, the teenager stuff, and it's not because I thought it was stupid. It was just I didn't like the sound. You know,
Right.
I didn't
Yeah.
like the.
Okay. Hang on a second. We got Victor Santiago in the house from the Don Vic Show. Hello, Victor. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Vic.
Joanne Stewart commented in here as well. She likes Thunderstruck from AC/DC. You gotta love Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
And Styx and AC/DC and Pink Floyd. What about you, George? What's your genre, buddy?
Eastern European, middle age. No, I'm joking. Heavy metal, man. Heavy metal. Like my first concert. Well, I take it back. My second concert was Judas Priest. Unleashed in the East. I was like 12, I think, or 13 or something like that. I was in junior high school. And so that's a favorite. Just everything from 70s rock to middle 80s rock, and then of course Metallica and that kind of stuff. And I've seen a bunch of bands in concert. That's one thing I'm glad to say I've done is I've seen Styx in concert. I've seen AC/DC in concert. Seen Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden was my favorite for a long time. I grew my hair because I wanted to be Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, but yeah, man, rock and roll. And then, of course, you get older, tastes change, but you always go back. And then there was a point where it was punk rock. The Dead Kennedys, the Sex Pistols, all those guys, And then,
Right.
like Maddy, there was a point where there was grunge. I remember the very first time I heard Stone Temple Pilots. What was it, Dead and Bloated? And whatever it is, yeah, that's the one. I remember that, and I remember the very first time I heard Nirvana, and I was just blown away. Gainer, hi, but
Gainer, what's up?
But yeah, man,
thanks
rock
for
and roll.
stopping in from Queens Island, Australia. Thanks for stopping in. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, rock and roll.
I used to love it when my kids were growing up, and I would listen to all that 80s stuff, and they'd pick up on it. And one day I had to laugh because Pat Benatar come on, and my youngest would sit there and sing it, and it was Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Well, my youngest daughter always thought it said, "Hit me with your pet shark." So I had to laugh at her about it. And then Britney Spears come on, and she started singing "I Love Rock and Roll," and I would be singing it in the car, and they'd look at me like, "Dad, how do you know Britney Spears?" And I said, "This wasn't Britney, This was, let's see, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts,
Right.
listening to it from back in the day." And there's like, "What's that?" And then I'd had to look it up, and I was like, "Listen to this version. It's a little better than that one, but yeah." And they're like, "What? They're remaking music?" And I was like, "Yeah, they remake some things all the time." Love the AC/DC great drag racing music. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I definitely like AC/DC, especially like Thunderstruck and Black and Black. I like that album. But there's definitely for sure.
There was a point. This young friend of a friend of mine we were driving, and I had Queensryche, and everybody knew Queensryche's Silent Lucidity, right? Everybody knew it. But I put on Queensryche, Queen of the Reich.
Oh.
And they had no idea. She was like, "Who's this?" I was like, "Well, this is Queensryche before they sold out,
Yeah.
And she's like, "This is Queensryche?" And she had no idea that Queensryche was what they were before they became this other band, And I shouldn't say sold out. Decided to make more money. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Whatever they did, by all means, go for it. But I was like, yeah, this was what they sounded like before that. And she couldn't believe it. It was amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to kind of go back and reorganize yourself a little bit. And then next thing you know, heck, you come up with some of those one hitters like they did back in the 80s. Because we had several bands that I remember used to have one hit wonders. And then some of them would hit doubles once in a while. And it was like one after another would be knocking each other off the chart for number one there for a while. And It's like, wow. I mean, 80s music just rules. I mean, I do like some of the Buddy Holly era and stuff like that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Man, the 80s, you can't beat it. And Raymond says, "I've seen way too many bands to name and listen to even more bands."
Right.
Hell yes.
You know what what was one of my favorite concerts, believe it or not? And people don't get it, but if you listen to it, the guitar is amazing, man. And the music's amazing too. Was Prince.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Prince was that show. I saw him at the Irwin Center in Austin in I think 1993 or 1994, the Purple Rain tour, and it was just an amazing show, man. I mean, the guitar playing, all the theatrics, and going back to an amazing show. My second show, Judas Priest. People don't. I mean, I don't know if people remember this or if they ever saw it, but Judas Priest, Rob Halford came out. You know when he come out on the Harley? Before he came out on the Harley, he came out. Are you ready for this? A fully automatic machine gun that was shooting blanks. Shells were coming out of the machine gun, and he was just shooting it up in the air. And it's like safety. Whoever's doing safety now for shows would probably have a heart attack if somebody said they wanted to do that. But he came out and he was fully automatic machine gun just up in the air, and then he came out on the Harley, of course. But I will remember that show forever.
Yeah, I mean the things that they could do back in the 80s compared to some of the shows nowadays is wow. And I mean some of the shows have come up with better, how do I say, 3D stuff and graphic stuff. But I mean they really come up and engineered some of the stuff in the 80s for some of the things they've seen. Let's see. Raymond says, "I've seen Judas Priest. Roy Orbison. Yeah, I liked Roy. He had some great
Robertson
songs.
was awesome.
He should have got more credit than what he did. I mean, he was a really
Right.
good singer for his time as well. ABBA, I remember ABBA.
Ava.
Evan? Yeah.
Then he says, I like the 60s and the 80s. So, but yeah, definitely so. All right, guys, we are coming up at the top of the hour. We got like 4 minutes left. Time flies. We're having fun, most definitely so. Is there anything you guys have coming up that you would like to tell everybody and have them check you out when time comes, and actually where they can find you guys to watch your show? Because you guys do have a great, fun show when, to watch. You talk a little bit about everything when you don't go on Paranormal Investigations. Like I said, you guys talk about movies sometimes and even rock and roll. So can you let everybody know what's coming up for you guys?
Yeah, you can find us on Maddy Talking Smack on Facebook. We're just doing the do. We haven't had a show for a minute, but we're getting ready to get back on it. We said that a couple of times, but we mean it this time. And we enjoy talking to people. We enjoy laughing. We enjoy hearing people's opinions, and we're just really excited to get back on it. We have David on a lot. We love having David on. He's so knowledgeable, and he has so much good information.
David is awesome.
So,
yeah,
I've had David on my. I've had him on my show a few times. He is full of information, and he's a very cool guy. He does tarot card readings as well. Men at Work, yeah, I've seen them too. But, like I said, you guys do a great show. And like I said, it's been a little while since I had a chance to talk to you guys. That's why I wanted to bring you back on and, and let the new followers find out who you are from my side of the world here. Because I know you guys are down in the Texas area and I'm down here in the Illinois area. So I'm a little ways away from you guys. But the fact is, like I said, Maddy, I got to say one thing before I drop you backstage. Thank you for all the sharing that you put out for the Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. I appreciate it very much. You are an amazing person to be doing that as well. And I do try to catch as much as I possibly can so I can share out everybody's as well. And like I said, I greatly appreciate you doing that for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anytime. You're always putting out good stuff. So I want the people to see it,
Well, I thank you for that as well. I'm going to drop you guys backstage, and thank you for coming on. I'm going to run a few little ads here at the end of the show and announce who's going to be coming on next week as well. But like I said, I greatly appreciate you guys coming on tonight. You can watch a replay of this show later tonight on All Access Network Television as well. My co-partner tonight is dealing with some issues, and I wish her the best with all that's going on. And she will be setting up the replays for later tonight as well. And like I said, thanks for coming on, guys, and I'm going to drop you backstage.
Thank you for having us. It was fun.
thank you for having us.
Positive vibes, everybody.
You're welcome, guys. That was Maddy and George from Maddy Talking Smack. Go check out their show on Facebook. They do an amazing job. They always got some fun stuff they talk about as well. So with that being said, I'm going to run a few of our ads here real quick. So stay tuned and check them out. And here we go. Definitely check out All Access Network Television. They have some great shows on there. And we've got one more thing. The event coming in July to Broadhead Manor. Here we go.
Brace yourself for the Paranormal Rockdown, July 18th and 19th, 2025 at the haunted Broadhead Manor. Friday night, rock out with Dead Amsterdam, Left on Red, and headliner Green Jelly. The music may not be the only thing shaking these walls. Rumor has it the spirits love a good beat. Will you meet one? Saturday, meet paranormal legends like Dave Schrader, Sam Baltrusis, and more. Enjoy thrilling workshops, tasty treats, and a live Zoom Q&A with Dustin Perry. Dive into the ultimate paranormal investigation with expert guides. Or join a spine-tingling seance with Sam Baltrusis. Tickets are limited. Get yours now for an unforgettable weekend of music, mystery, and chills.
Definitely check them out in July at Broadhead Manor. It's going to be an event you definitely don't want to miss. Next week on the Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal Podcast, we have Phantom Pals, Nick and Leah. And we are looking forward to having them as well. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I'm out of here.